Paladins 1.1 is here, and like always, Hi-Rez has delivered us a bunch of new content in the form of a limited time event. Once again, a new game mode, some event exclusive skins, some bug fixes, and balance changes were added to this update, and I mean, is there really anything else you could add to these? Unlike last time, however, Hi-Rez has doubled down and shoved a brand new champion down our throats as well, instead of making us wait an extra 2 weeks like they did with Khan. So, what's the new event like and how does the new champion play? Well, I'll let you know in a second, just calm the fuck down, alright? Usually the way my review videos work is I primarily focus on the good and then follow up later in the video with the bad, but because I'm a brainlet and I've had a very hard time separating what I want to say into different segments, not only because I feel it would seem out of place, but make the video also horribly paced, I'm going to just say whatever the hell comes to mind. Don't like it? I don't care. Before we get into things, I'd just like to mention that I'm also not going to be going over Furia in this video. I debated internally about this decision, but ultimately I came up with the conclusion that I'd like to make another video focusing entirely on her like I did with Khan. I wasn't able to get into any Siege or Deathmatch games while the PTS was online, and I feel that by the time this video comes out, I wouldn't be able to share my feelings with you about her. 3 days isn't enough for me to grasp how a champion should be played. After all, I do work most of the day. I plan on bringing out the Furia video the next week, so if you're interested in hearing what I have to say about her, sorry, but you're gonna have to wait a bit longer. Just hang on to your butts, okay? There's a lot of stuff to cover, and I don't want to keep any of you waiting any longer, so without further ado, I present to you my Paladins 1.1 event review. Wow, I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Now where do we begin? Well, I guess we'll start with the first thing that pops up when you boot up Paladins. Hey! They changed the patch note. Hey! The launch client doesn't say beta anymore. Well, I guess it's official. Paladins is finally out of beta, and it only took them 2 extra patches to do so. Congratulations, Hi-Rez. So the first thing you'll notice before the menu even loads up is that the main menu music has been changed to some heavy metal rendition of the original main menu, I think. And I mean, it's okay, I guess. If I'm gonna be completely honest here, the beginning sounds great, and the rest of it, though, it's just not very good. I appreciate the effort, but it sounds just like all over the place. In fact, it sounds to me like somebody put this piece together in a half hour. The production value is just ugh. There's just too many things playing at the same time on multiple tracks, and I think there's supposed to be a bell tower ringing in the background, but even then I can't be too sure because of how in-your-face the whole track is. Honestly, this is one of the more disappointing parts of the patch for me, because I really enjoy this kind of music, but I just can't get over how busy and artificial it sounds. I mean, it's supposed to sound like heavy metal, but one of the tracks playing sounds digital and whiny. It's just out of place, and it's more whiny than me, actually, and it hurts my ears. The music that plays when you're loading into a game is a bit better than the main track, but still, I'm just digging way too deep into this. At least if it's better than the song that plays directly after it. That shit sounds like it belongs in the main menu of a Half-Life game. And speaking of the main menu, why does it feel half-finished? Drogo's model is fine where it is, although I do think it's a bit big for the main menu, but the real question is just what the hell is going on with the background? Did they forget to add it? They had an actual background for Siege of Ascension's Peak and the update after that, so why isn't there something here now? It would've looked rad as fuck if Drogo's was sitting on his throne on top of his tower, so why isn't it there? You know what, now that I think about it, why is Drogo's the main focus of the event anyway? The event is titled The Rise of Furia, and she's the newest champion added to the game, yet she is nowhere to be seen on the main menu. You'd think that she'd be the one to take the stage, right? Well, I guess not. I guess advertising one of the brand new limited time only skins, which by the way, cost more than the ones from the previous event, is more important. Every bundle in the Siege of Ascension's Peak was priced at 300 crystals, and now they're at 400. I tried to convince myself that they wouldn't increase the price after releasing single mesh skins, but deep down I knew it was coming. I just had the feeling in my gut, you know? I honestly don't know why I even doubted Hi-Rez for a second with that one. Well, we've established that skins are more important to Hi-Rez when it comes to promoting their new content, so let's review them first. Since they cost more than last time, that means they would have to be of higher quality, right? Don't answer that, it was rhetorical. First up is Fallen and Roxas. I have mixed feelings about this one. On one hand, I love the theme they're going for here, which to me seems like a possessed suit of armor, but on the other hand, I just can't get over how disgusting this color scheme is. Orange complements blue, but this, it just looks so ugly. Is he the new mascot for the New York Knicks? When I think of a fallen angel, I don't think about the color orange. Why isn't his armor just black or gray? At the very least, if Hi-Rez is adamant on keeping it orange, at least make it a darker shade of orange. And why is his aura blue anyway? Blue is a cool color. Cool colors are supposed to be relaxing. When I look at this skin, I feel everything but that. Looking at that skin just gives me an anxiety attack. It's just so busy. Not all is bad with this skin though. The Danny Phantom going ghost arm is really cool. The marks left on the ground after firing his ultimate are a nice added touch. His voice pack is solid. The physical design of the skin itself looks great. And even though I don't like the color of the aura, I do like the visual effect of it. Unfortunately, I just can't get over the color scheme. It just ruins the skin for me. And Roxas mains will probably be happy with this skin, but it's definitely not for me. I won't be picking up this one for sure. Next up on our list is Tyra. Before we even look at the in-game model, we gotta talk about the splash art first. Just what the fuck is wrong with her face? She looks like she's an Argonian from the Elder Scrolls in disguise. I feel so bad for her, really, I do. She looks nothing like that. And look at the way she's holding the gun. The stock is supposed to be pressed against your shoulder. You aren't supposed to fire a gun while holding it like a fucking baby. And why is the gun firing off around at all when her finger isn't even on the trigger? 3 out of 10, Hi-Rez. See me after class. Oh, and her braid is hanging the wrong way too. Good job. Moving on to the actual in-game model, like Fallen and Roxas, Tyra, design-wise, looks fantastic. Nothing is perfect, however. When I think of an angel, I think of the very orthodox image of one. I was expecting long, flowing blonde locks from her, not this awkward hoodie, helmet thing. At least I could say with confidence that unlike Fallen and Roxas, her color scheme is perfect. It is on point. There's nothing wrong with it. This is what a warrior on the side of heaven should look like, without a doubt. Her grenade launcher and firebomb show off her new heavenly feather particles, and the angel wings on her back only reinforce the fact that she is indeed an angel. I'm not too sure why the ends of her wings look like they were dipped into orange dye, but what I'm more concerned about is her bright yellow floating halo-like ring behind her head. It's as bright as a McCree using High Noon and Overwatch. You'd just be insane to use this. If the halo was a bit smaller and actually around her head instead of behind her, and the hood was gone, it would be a solid 8 or maybe 9 out of 10 skin, but I just can't bring myself to purchase this one with these problems. Maeve gets a skin as well, and wait, am I gonna get arrested if I show this? Isn't she 16 or something? Wait, what? They changed her age? She's 18 now? I swear to God, at one point they said that she was one of their younger champions, with a heavy emphasis on younger. Okay, whatever. Her skin doesn't look too bad, she definitely looks like a demon, so at least they got her model right. But what the fuck is up with this color scheme? Why does Hi-Rez insist on using cool colors for skins related to hell and bad things? This skin would have looked so much better if, like Androxus, it was black or red. Or both. Just what the fuck? And why was she given tits on this skin? Like seriously, I don't give a shit that there are tits at all. I love the fun bags. But why do you give a champion that has never shown off her body tits like this? It doesn't fit her character at all. So why are they hanging out now? Why does she even have the skin at all? It doesn't fit her. This isn't a skin for Maeve. Switch this skin with the schoolgirl Sky one. Maeve was never sexualized before, so why do it now? Oh wait, I know why. Whatever, moving on. Last but not least, we have Drogo's. Holy shit, at least one of the newer skins had to look good, right? Drogo's looks like he's been through some shit and is ready to rip off some fucking heads. I mean, just look at his body, it's completely eroded. You can see the bones sticking out of his fucking stomach and the wings too. Overall, the skin is pretty fucking badass, but because I'm a nitpicky bastard, I did have to find something wrong with it. And like clockwork, what I found was exactly what I expected as soon as I saw the skin. What am I talking about, you ask? Well, did anybody notice how the skin actually gives him wings? But no, not just wings, big fucking wings. In fact, his whole player model has increased quite a bit when compared to his default one. Hi-Rez, answer me this one simple question. What is up with the change in his silhouette? When you create skins, you have to be sure that they match the hitbox of the character. When the hitbox doesn't match the player model, shit like this happens. This isn't good. This is something that should never happen. The whole point of a first-person shooter is to shoot other people, so why do you think it's okay to make a skin that makes it difficult for other people to do so? Could this be considered pay to win? I mean, it's a skin that you can only get with money, and whether you like it or not, it does provide an advantage to the user wearing it because it alters the appearance of the hitbox in some way. It's highly unlikely you will ever notice anything like this occurring while playing against an enemy Drogo's using this skin, as long as you aim for his head of course, but it's still a possibility that you run into this issue. Other than that, just like the last event, the best looking skin of the bunch gets paywalled behind the rest of them. Classic Hi-Rez. Why can't you just let us buy the skin if we only want that one? I wouldn't even mind if it was priced slightly higher than the other three. Just give us some way to get what we want instead of being forced to pay up for everything. It's just insulting. Alright, enough bickering about the skins. Let's move on to the new game mode. Long story short, you and your team race the opposing one to the top of this spooky looking tower, destroying some pink glowing crystal shit, and then finishing off with a game of team deathmatch for Drogo's entertainment. Along the way up the tower, you are not allowed to attack enemies, but you can build ult charge for the upcoming fight by grabbing these glowy things along the way. Instead of just giving us a set list of champions to play with and increase raid on cooldowns, we are given a completely new and unique experience, which I highly welcome. I think the new game mode is a nice change from what everyone is used to, and I'm glad to see Hi-Rez is trying new things with their game. But to me, it just seems like a ripoff of the old Counter-Strike 1.6 climbing maps. That isn't to say I didn't have fun with it, or that it's necessarily bad, because I did enjoy giving it a try. Regardless, at times the game mode can be somewhat frustrating. The climbing section of the map is filled with bugs. I've fallen through what were supposed to be solid platforms a whole bunch of times while climbing, and I'm not talking about those pink gem looking ones either, I'm talking about the black platforms. And the chains too, I've fallen off the chains even though I was clearly walking on them. As for the team deathmatch part of the map, the only complaints I have are the small map size, which leads to some extreme cases of spawn camping, and the lack of an item shop. I'm just not used to playing Paladins without buying items. The only other issue I have with the game mode is that we aren't able to choose our champions and we're forced to fight a mirror match at the end. Why? Why not just let people pick what they want to play? I played Talus in my first game, and because I barely play him, I didn't realize that his teleportation ability automatically activates after the timer runs out. I only put the thing on the floor as a failsafe in case I fell, but when I was in the lead and went a good distance without fucking up, I was sent back to the beginning. Talk about fucking bullshit. Overall, the new game mode itself is a million times better than the Siege of Ascension's Peak one, and I'm glad Hi-Rez listened to some of the feedback from the last event. Like you just heard, I emphasized some. Let me get into that. So, if you've watched my Siege of Ascension's Peak video, you might remember at one point I brought up how I was confused that a primarily free-to-play game had an event where only paying customers would experience completely. In the Siege of Ascension's Peak, everyone was given event-exclusive quests that needed to be completed in order to unlock event-exclusive cosmetics. Sounds fair and sounds simple, right? Well, it turns out that the only way you can actually acquire any of these cosmetics is if you paid for one of the skin bundles as well. I and many others thought that you could unlock these either by participating and spending the time completing the quests, or skipping the grind completely and paying outright. We didn't realize until much later that you actually had to do both to get anything. That means that anyone who didn't spend any money during the last event basically got nothing for participating, regardless of how much they played, aside from some gold which is completely worthless. You might think that sounds bad, but oh baby, wait till you hear about this. I didn't think it could get any worse, but Hi-Rez has proven me wrong once again. After each game you play, you are given some exclusive event currency, which can only be redeemed for the event-exclusive items. However, you aren't able to use them at all until you purchase one of the 3 bundles this event. That means that if you don't buy one of the skin bundles this time, you have to stare at your collection of gems just growing and sitting in your inventory until you decide to bite the bullet and cough up the dough. Just what the fuck is that shit? What a kick in the nuts. I just love how Hi-Rez keeps introducing these reward systems based on progression, only to, time after time, lock them behind paywalls. It's absolutely disgusting. At least let players who aren't able to get a skin bundle unlock the other event-exclusive cosmetics at a higher price. I mean, that's the least you can do. Looking past that, it seems that they did learn something from the last event. Instead of the free-to-play players walking away with nothing in hand, we are given 2 chances to get a chest, regardless if you spent any money on the event or not. If you collect 100 crystals, you get a gold chest, and at 200, you get a diamond. Wow, Hi-Rez, maybe you do care about your poor players after all. Maybe you do care about those of us who aren't whales. In conclusion, I give the new Paladins event not 1, but 2 grades. Hi-Rez gets an A for effort, but I'm going to have to give them a number grade as well, and it's going to have to be a 5 out of 10. The new champion in game mode proved to me that Hi-Rez can still create unique content, and the addition of new ways to customize your game through music, for example, are a welcome change after removing the advanced skin customization. Some of the newer skins are cool, but all of them, aside from Maeve's outfit, look a bit too busy. I'm all for having complex looking skins, but when you over-design them, they just look like shit. Furthermore, the new Drogo skin looks metal as fuck, but changes his silhouette quite a bit, which has me worried about the future skins to be released. The event exclusive items are still locked behind a paywall, and while free-to-play players can collect gems, they can't spend them unless they purchase one of the 3 bundles, which, in my opinion, is one of the lowest blows they've ever done. The 2 free chests are a nice gesture to those of us who don't want to or can't spend any money during the event, but I feel like it's not enough to bump up the score even by 1 point. I just can't get over how you have to pay to use a currency that you've already collected. It just doesn't feel right to me. Other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's it for this week. What do you think about the new event? Let me know how you feel in the comments section down below, and as always, leave a like if you thought it was somewhat entertaining, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, if you like what you see. I currently upload 1 video each Sunday, so be sure to visit again next week. If you'd like to connect with me, I have a Discord server and a Twitter down in the video description, and if you'd like to support me on my never-ending quest of complaining, consider purchasing one of my t-shirts. The link for that will also be in the description down below. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the new event, and get ready for next Sunday since we'll be going over Furia by then. I'll see you next week. Later.